You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
This is the Monday Night Community Show. We're joined with James Crane from the Kent County Council Community Wardens, and his next question's quite relevant as we're going into those much darker nights now. James, how do you make yourself more visible at night time?
Well, yeah, I mean, but before I come on to that, there's I'd like to cover some aspects of road safety. There's actually the week that we're in, obviously the 19th to 25th of November, is National Road Safety Week, and one of the things that the wardens around Swale are going to be doing is going into different schools around their areas and actually giving talks to the school children, as basically giving them road safety advice. And I thought that this would be an ideal opportunity to give more of an effort with that, especially with this interview. So when trying to make yourself more visible at night, mostly about when walking on unlit roads, the most simple answer to this is wear bright clothing. It's surprising how much warm clothing is manufactured in dark, sober colours. It's fine for motorists, but not for pedestrians. I found this on the way up here. I turned into the road off the low road to come up to the studio here, and I was about 200 yards up the road, and suddenly I noticed someone on the right hand side of the road walking in the same direction as I was travelling, but I didn't see him until I was on top of him. Not literally, but simply because he was dressed in all black. Actually, by the time I was worked out it was a person now, I'd already gone past him and was on my way up here. But it's fine for the pedestrian to be able to say they can see where they're going, but they've got to think about the drivers who are reliant on the headlights to see where they're going, and they can only see what is actually in their headlights when they're driving along. So preferably if you wear a bright reflective coat and or leggings. These are fairly easily bought from some retailers on and off the island. If this isn't done, as a minimum, consider wearing a reflective sash over your outer garments. Again, these can be bought relatively inexpensively. Secondly, if you carry a torch with you, torches these days can be really powerful, but small and reasonably lightweight. Many of these are of an LED design, which are reliable, extremely bright, and the light they give out can be seen more easily than a conventional torch bulb. Also, LEDs don't eat batteries as much as a normal torch bulb will do. Many of these LED torches are capable of flashing their beam, and the flashing light is often more noticeable than a steady light. And finally, walk where you can be seen. I mean, I don't expect people to walk in the middle of the road, even if there's no footpath, as that would be foolish. But it's equally foolish to walk in the banks and hedgerows where drivers would find it hard to spot you, even if they're expecting you to be there. So just stand. I would recommend stand just outside of the hedgerow, but close enough to it that you can step into it if a car does come towards you.
If you're walking along the road and there's no footpath, what exactly should you do, and what side of the road should you walk on?
Well, there is actually no single hard and fast rule to observe, other than say that you should walk where you can best be seen. So on a straight road, this is easy in that you ought to walk on the right-hand side where you'll be facing the oncoming traffic. The problem comes when you approach a bend, especially if you're walking on a country road, perhaps with hedging or a high bank running alongside. If the road bends to the right, you should consider crossing the road so that you'll be walking on the outside of the bend. You're always more visible to traffic if you keep to the outside of a bend. This is because the oncoming traffic from in front of you will often stick close to the near side to give as much clearance as possible to any traffic coming towards them. So basically so they can avoid collisions. If you didn't cross the road, keep on the outside of the bend, you'd risk being run over by those drivers who hug the near side edge. You must, of course, keep very aware of any traffic coming from behind you and be prepared to stop, turn sideways and stand still to allow traffic to pass by. I am aware that some advice clings to the rule that you should always walk on the right to face oncoming traffic, but this does increase the risk to yourself on the left-hand bend, on the right-hand bends. Left-hand bends are not so much of a problem, as by facing the oncoming traffic you'll stay on the outside of the bend where you're always most visible.
And Jones, I know you wanted to cover a little bit of cycle safety.
Yeah, indeed. It's Especially, well, not especially, but I might find that this time of year some people are still running the bikes about, and fair play to them. Not for me. I've got a car with a heater in it. I prefer to do it that way, but that's my choice, and obviously we're in a free country. People make their own choices, but some stuff for cycle safety. So just to make sure that the essentials on your bike are actually working, i.e. Your lights. Just make sure the batteries are fully charged and the bulbs and all the LEDs work. Make sure you've got a white static for the front and a red for the back. LEDs are far more reliable than bulbs, as I mentioned earlier, and they can give out a much brighter, clearer light, as well as lasting for a longer period of time. Helmets. Wearing a helmet might not be cool for kids, but helmets do save lives. They're designed to take an impact away from the skull and prevent a serious injury. So check to see if the helmet's got any cracks or other visible defects. If it has, you might want to consider replacing it, as it has taken the blow somewhere and has weakened it. This may then cause an injury if you were to come off the bike. There's other safety clothing to bear in mind. You've either got a high-vis jacket or sash. Again, you're going to be more visible, especially at night. And again, these can be picked up relatively inexpensively from a cycle shop or any motoring retailer who sells breakdown kits for cars. And other general maintenance, remember to check your brakes, your tyres and your gears. They all need checking so that they don't let you down. If your bike tyre is looking a bit bald and the tread is barely visible, this is going to have the same effect as your car tyre, which is in the same state, and your slowing distance may be affected. Again, consider getting it replaced. Your brakes, again, obviously if your brakes are wearing down, you're not going to have the friction to be able to stop quickly. And also the gears on your bikes. Obviously, to make it easier, you've got gears, and you change the gears to make the workload easier for you when either on the straight, an uphill or a downhill incline. So again, get your bike serviced regularly at retailers. And just make sure you're ready for any eventuality.
James, before you go, I was wondering if you could go over some of those useful contact details for us.
Yep, certainly. I've only got I think I've got 4 for you this time. Normal ones, Kent Police, obviously partner agency I work with quite closely. 2 numbers for them. You've got the emergency and the non-emergency. Obviously everyone knows the emergency of being 999, and their non-emergency number of being 101. Kent County Council, they've got a call centre, be able to put you through to anything. That's 08458 245 247. Kent Highways, I mentioned about the potholes earlier. That's 08458 247 800. And finally you've got Swell Borough Council, which is 01795 417 850, and obviously they'll be able to put you through to any department there or take any query that you may have.
James, as always, I'd like to thank you very much for coming along this evening.
That's right, Daniel, and thanks for inviting me back again for another interview with you.
It always seems strange saying this, but have a good Christmas and we'll see you in January.
Yes, indeed.